Are you ready for a different kind of video? Today I'm going to share my creative process start to finish, and it's a long one, so grab a snack or a drink and let's get into it. Now, I haven't been in the creative mood for quite some time. You've probably noticed that I haven't put much content out lately. I just have not been creating at all. But I really wanted to create a project for 4th of July. And to be honest, I really didn't know where to start. But with a theme in mind, it kind of made it easier. So I'm going to bring you along the process. I mean business when I bring out the extra table, so that's what I did. And because I have a theme in mind for this project, which is 4th of July, I went around my craft room and pulled out everything that I can find that is American patriotic related, whether it had numbers, stars, the United States. Just got this cute little stamp. Not sure, I know I'm not going to use all of this, but I would rather pull out more than I need than mid-project think, oh, where's that stamp, and then have to get up and break my creative process in having to get up and look for something. So after I pulled out all of the, the stamps and dies and stencils and everything that are strictly like American themed, then I thought about things that inspired me. So like, I love these stamps, I love these, and I actually just got this one. It just has one little saint, red, white, and blue on here. Not sure, again, if I'm going to use it. This alphabet stamp set. I just pulled a ton of things out. And I highly recommend doing this because I know it makes a mess. But again, I would much rather have something nearby and not use it than mid-project have to get up and go find something that I wanted to use, which probably will happen, but I want to minimize that because I'm lazy. I don't want to get up if I'm creating, to be honest. All right, so the inspiration for this project is actually this little girl. I really want to use her, but I also want to make it a little bit non-traditional. I don't want to just do red, white, blue, striped stars. So I remembered this tag that I created quite a while ago, and I think I might use this stamp instead. It's a little bit bigger, but I do want to use like a butterfly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you. Hopefully I'm not making you guys sick, but again, I'm taking you through it. All right, so I lay this down and then I'm gonna see where she's gonna fit, if it's gonna go, and I think it is. I have a couple other little things here. Again, I don't know what's gonna work, what's not. And I actually, surprisingly, I pulled out some flowers. Again, I don't know we're gonna use those or not, but I do want to use like a butterfly. So I need to find this stamp set because I want it to be like right here. And it's gonna have kind of this whole theme going on where it's just a little bit of color, more mixed media. I'll do lots of stamping. I'll probably sew on it. I have to get my sewing machine out. But yeah, so that is the idea behind this project. So let's get creating. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is stamp out this stamp that I'm going to use on a different tag because I do want to cut it out like I did on this tag. So I'm going to do that, and I do like to use my Misty when I need to get a good impression. So I have my foam in there, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to make sure that I'm able to stamp it twice if I need to. I like to use the Altenew permanent black ink. As you can see, it's very well loved. I do have a re-inker for this. I absolutely love this ink for mixed media because it's permanent, and if I use things over top, like if I want to color, use sprays, anything like that, it's not going to bleed everywhere. And it's a nice crisp black. I do like to use this Stampendable tool to make sure that I get a good impression with my stamp, and I probably will need to stamp this twice. Yes, isn't that beautiful? I'm just gonna ink it up. I might do this 3 times, we'll see. All right, we're gonna just press that in really well. I actually think that looks really good. I'm going to actually take another tag and stamp it on that tag as well. All right, so this is going to be the main tag, so I'm going to stamp the image on here as well. And I shifted the stamp over just a little bit. That way the girl can kind of fit on there, and then we could see all those florals and stuff too. And the reason why I'm stamping it on 2 different tags is because we're going to cut this one out. And I also want all of that like flex and all of that texture in the background, the script and things like that from the stamp to be on the tag. I'm going to ink this up with, again, that permanent black ink really, really well. Just like that. My stamp pendable tool is dependable. All right, we're going to stamp it one more time. Just want to make sure that I get a good crisp image. Yes, this is looking gorgeous. I'll probably use this one to cut out, and then this one, yeah, because that one looks better. All right, so we have our two images, and I'm going to actually color this before I cut it out. It will make things so much easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of color to this tag. This is going to be the main tag where I add all of my elements and everything too. So I'm just going to spritz it with just a little bit of water. That way the color kind of moves around a little bit, doesn't stay in one place. And then I'm just gonna splatter this. This is Lost Shadow. I just kind of want a little bit of a background going on. And I actually like to use my finger a lot to move the color around. There we go. Nothing too fancy here. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more splatters. Just like that. It's just very subtle in the back. And then I think I might add some oxide ink as well. This is Stormy Sky. With oxide ink, you really need to make sure that you shake it up really well. You can hear that ball moving around in there. It's going to get all of that stuff on the bottom moved around and mixed together. And you have to be careful with oxide ink because it will overpower anything else you got going on. So we don't want that. So I'm just going to add it in a couple little areas and then just kind of spread it out. Most of this is going to be covered up anyways, and I need to find a paper towel like ASAP. I am going to use my heat tool to dry this a little bit. I haven't used this in so long, I can smell the dust burning from it. That should tell you how long it's been since I've created anything. All right, again, I want the background to be more subtle. That way the flowers, when I paint them, like the red and the blue, they'll stand out a little bit more. I am going to add a little bit of brighter blue and red splatters to the background as well. I just wanted more muted colors to be kind of more on the background, if that makes sense. All right, so that's what it's looking like so far. Not much going on. I am going to use some lumberjack plaid. And let's see. Don't want too much. Just a little bit here and there. And then I'm going to spritz it. Maybe my water bottle is just something else today. And again, most of this is going to be covered up. But I kind of want, you see how like on this tag, just some of that color is like peeking through. And it's a lot lighter than the orange. That's kind of what I'm going for here. All right, so I'm going to add more stamping to this because I need to bring like the edges together. And as you could see on this one, I added more stamping here and up here, and then just kind of brought the script stamp in and just kind of made it all kind of blend together. So that's what I'm going to do here. And for this, I don't use a stamp block. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I like to stamp off a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of roll it there on the bottom right there. And then I need something up here. So we're gonna roll it up there. When I stamp over top of the oxide ink, I don't know if you could see, but it turns it like brown. It's kind of cool. Not what I was going for, but that's okay. All right, I think I'm gonna dry this a little bit more and then see if that will help. All right, you see how my tag's kind of curling up? I'm just gonna flip it over and then that will help it kind of flatten out a little bit. Not too much, but it helps just a little bit. I'm not worried about it being wonky. I don't really care, but just a little tip if you're worried about that. All right, I'm gonna take some more. I think I'm gonna grab some different stamps. All right, I have these little stars and I'm just going to hopefully just in a couple little areas. That way it helps it kind of get that patriotic feel going on. I think I might. All right, I think I'm gonna put that one there. And I like to just kind of curve the stamp a little bit if I want to get in the middle. And then, all right, I think that's pretty good for that. I do need something else here. I think this sewing is going to help a lot too. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this chipped sapphire just to add some more bright blue. And that is more than I wanted, but that's okay. Because I can always pick it up, because I don't want the red and the blue to mix together, obviously, because I don't want purple. All right, I think I like that a lot better. So I'm going to dry this now. Okay, so now I'm going to color the image that we're going to cut out, and I'm actually going to try to use the Distress watercolor pencils. I haven't used these in quite some time, and I think the colors that I want to use are in here. Yes, so Fired Brick, and then the Chipped Sapphire, I think. Is that, no, that's Prize Ribbon. Okay, so I only have Fired Brick, so we'll have to go in with some of the Distress spray and color some of the flowers, but that's okay. So they're not going to be perfect, and I probably will color them wrong, but that's okay, because it's just paper. It's just a tag. And I think that's kind of what holds people back sometimes. I know that's what held me back for a long time, coloring images, even if I just did a little bit like I'm doing here, was because I was afraid that, you know, those coloring snobs were gonna come out of the woodworks and critique my coloring, and it never, I mean, I probably got some, but not as much as I thought. So just have fun and sit and create. That's all that matters. I'm gonna do this one here. And I am going to do the leaves green. All right, so we're just gonna color this in. And again, it's not going to be perfect. And just a little bit of shading here. Nothing crazy. And then I'll go in with a semi-clean brush, and then I'll go backwards into that color. That way I can kind of blend a little bit. Just like that. Kind of just helps blend that color in without diluting that darker color that you wanted. All right, same thing here. I'm gonna go in up top and bring it down. I did it a little bit too much on that one, but that's okay. Not looking for perfection here. All right, red ones are done. I'm just going to spray a little bit of this chipped sapphire right here. That way I don't have that open, because I probably will spill it if I keep it open. All right, we're just gonna go in on this flower now. Go in with some water and then kind of dilute that color a little bit. Bring it out to the other, like the petals. I don't know what I'm saying. Just color the image. I'm sure you all do not follow me for my coloring, and that's okay because I'm not the greatest. I can get it done. You know what, I think I'm gonna go in with Lost Shadow, which I don't believe that is in, what's this one? I think that's Ice Spruce. I don't think that's in the color pencils or the watercolor pencils, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm just gonna spray some on to my mat here. So I think the green will throw it off if I do green leaves. So I'm just gonna do like the centers gray with this Lost Shadow and then whatever else is on here. I think I'm gonna do a little fired brick because this is kind of looking a little muted here. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of the fired brick distress spray to brighten it up. Because the watercolor pencil was just a little too muted. Once it dried, it just kind of meh. All right. There we go. That's better. It's a lot better. Okay, now I can go in and fix this blue. All right, I'm not sure what color I want the light bulb. I'm thinking Lost Shadow. Let's see. And then maybe a little hickory smoke or something. All right, I'm going to spray a little hickory smoke here. It's just a little darker than that Lost Shadow, so I can add some shadow to this. Give it a little bit more depth and interest. Just like that. And I'm gonna add some to the centers of the flowers too, and as well as the leaves. I haven't really colored in a long time. This makes me want to get out my zig markers. And there's my cat. Yes, Callie? All right, I'm just gonna splatter some of this on here. And I'm going to dry this now. Okay, I think I want to make this butterfly, actually I think I'm gonna do it gray because I want to make the butterfly next to the girl blue, I think. There we go. That was easy. I'm gonna add some red here and try and splatter a little bit onto these flowers. I'm gonna dry this. I'm gonna let everything dry and I'm gonna cut it out and I'll be back. All right, so here is kind of my idea, is I'm going to pop this up and put this girl right here, but she doesn't stand out as much as I want and I don't really want to color her. So I'm not sure if this girl is going to make it on here. We'll see. I think I'm gonna do some sewing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what I come up with. All right, my mess is starting to spill into my little working space area, but I think I'm going to add some stamping onto the light bulb at least, just because it's looking a little bare. It's bigger than the other one that I used on this tag. So it needs a little something just to kind of help it, everything tie in together. There we go. I think I'm gonna do a little bit on the flowers as well. It's very subtle, but it definitely helps bring everything together. And that's what you want. All right, so I'm going to add some Distress Microglaze to this, which I should have done that before I cut it out, but I don't know if you could see, it just brightened that up so much. It's just, this stuff is amazing. All right, there we go. And then it will protect the color from when I want to add the white splatters. So there we go. And I am going to add a little bit of inking to the edges here where I can, just to help it kind of, I don't know, it just finishes it off a little bit, I think. I think I'm gonna do the same thing to this tag, just a little edging here. There we go. All right, so we got that. Ooh, I'm loving this. I think I'm gonna add some stars. All right, I'm gonna add microglaze to this tag as well. And I like to use a dome blending tool, and it doesn't matter that it's dirty. If it gets really bad, then I'll change it out, but it doesn't make any difference, to be honest. Okay, so that, and then we have the butterfly that I need to cut out. All right, let's see if this little girl's gonna make it. Actually, you know what? I think it might, yes, oh my gosh. Look, sometimes I have to look up at my camera to see the whole picture, because sometimes it just, yeah, I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna add some sewing, and then I will be back to kind of assemble everything together. All right, so I'm going to add some splatters on top of the tag before I add these pieces. So I did some sewing on these off camera because it's on the other side of my craft room. So, and then that way it just kind of looks more put together, I guess, because then you'll have some splatters like peeking out from underneath the cluster, and just kind of helps build all of that dimension on your project. I hope that makes sense. And then let's see, I'm going to add some foam adhesive to this so I could pop it up a bit. All right, so I'm gonna add some foam adhesive. I'm pretty sure this is from scrapbook.com. I don't want to put too much on. Like, I don't want it to be too high, so I'm just gonna add one little layer, but I definitely want to put enough so that it's on there and it's not gonna go anywhere. All right, one right there. Let me see how that looks. Yes. Doesn't that look amazing? Oh, I love this. Okay. Isn't it crazy how, you know, sometimes you are not really in the mood to create, and then once you start, it's like you can't stop. It's like, oh, the 5 minutes turns into 5 hours. That's what it's been today, for sure. All right, and I want all these strings to be out as much as possible. I don't want them really to stick to that adhesive, so, because I like it scraggly. I'm gonna line that up best I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Actually need to bring it up just a tad. There we go. Okay, and before we add our little girl, just like that. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so cool. Okay, I'm gonna add some splatters to this now. And remember, we put the microglaze on top, so that way the white will not seep in too much into that color that we added with the distress spray. Looking good, looking good. Okay, I do need to add some splatters to the girl just so that everything looks pretty cohesive, but I don't want to get it on her face. So I'm gonna cover up her face. And did I add? I think I added microglaze to that. I guess we'll see. Not too many, just enough to where, you know, it looks like it belongs. So it's not just sitting there. And I think I actually should have done some stamping first. I'm gonna add some stamping to the girl as well. Use my trusty script stamp. Don't want to get her face, of course. But just enough stamping to where, again, it looks like it belongs. I think I might pop her up too, so that we have a few different layers. Yes, yes, yes. All right, I have this other adhesive. I think this is from Amazon. It's a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna add her just like that. Actually, maybe over just a tad bit so I can see more of the flowers. Oh my gosh, I am loving this. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of movement to this bottom layer just because it feels a little flat. Just kind of crinkle it up in some areas. There we go. I'm gonna crinkle this butterfly a little bit. Perfect. Oh, I love this. I'm loving this. Okay, we're not done quite yet. All right, I'm gonna use this one. It says Celebrate Freedom. I really wanted to use the United We Stand, because I do believe that, what's that saying? United we stand, divided we fall. Definitely. All right, and then I'm gonna add, I think, if I could figure out where, I think this 1776 would be really cool right here. All right, so I'm gonna add some Patriotic to the sticker and add that right here. I'm gonna add my stars first because I'm not sure if I'm liking all the metal, but we'll see. So I'm gonna add one star here. Whoops. And I'm just using Patriotic. It should work. I'm not 100% sure if I've used it before over microglaze. I probably have. And then I'm gonna add this big one, kind of like right here. Let's see if I like that. Maybe I could put 17. Yeah, I think I like that. But I think I might add some string behind it somewhere, maybe tucked in somewhere, just to add more movement to the tag. This is embroidery, or I'm sorry, upholstery thread. It's really thick, and it's like stays where you want it to. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so we're gonna add generous amount of glue, like here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then what I do is I just kind of scrunch it up, and then I'm just gonna kind of tuck it away there, just like that. All right, then I'm gonna add this 17 right here. And then these were brads, these little ones. I just took the prongs off, so hopefully this will stay together. And then I'll do the 7 and then the 6. 17, 76. Something I'll play with it a little bit more before I take pictures, but that is my, get out of there. That's my completed tag. I absolutely love it. Love this girl, love the stars. Yes, it turned out more amazing than I honestly thought, because I really didn't even want to create, so look at that.